2 years ago, my life changed. I took the plunge to leave academia after completing my PhD and pursue a career in content creation full-time. But my journey to that point was far from easy, and there was a lot of ups and downs and a lot of learning that had to take place. Which is why I want to share with you everything that I have learned over the past 5 years about how to become a full-time content creator, so that you can stop the guessing and start creating today. I broke my strategy down into 5 W's and 1 H. So grab a piece of paper and a pen or open a note on your phone because we're about to get into it. W1 is what? Specifically though, what is your niche? And before you come at me and say, obviously Sarah, everybody under the sun and their mom talks about a niche and how important it is. But I need to reel you back in for a second and explain just why it is so important and how you can execute it successfully. A niche is essentially a topic of interest or an area of the internet that one particular group is interested in. You can think of it as a focus group on a specific topic, like people who love to cook, or moms who love to go to the park, or dads who love sports. A group of people who like the same thing. Now, a niche is so important when you're starting out because you don't yet have that credibility to back up what you're saying. You also don't have likeness online, so nobody knows who you are, which is unfortunately the real truth, but that's why a niche is going to help you here. Because it's going to give your viewers an idea of what it is that you have to offer them and give them a reason to follow you. So when choosing your niche, you want to ask yourself the following questions. What are your interests? What is already a part of your daily life? And this will help with preventing creator burnout later on, but we'll talk about that a bit later in the video. And what are your expertise? Once you answer these questions, it's time to niche down. Because what we're trying to do at the beginning is take that broad idea, or that broad thing that you want to talk about, and bring it down to a finite point of something that is very, very specific. And so let's take my science platform, for example. We start with education. I want to educate people. I can break that down further into science education, and then break that down even further into science education specifically for kids. And then if we go a little deeper, it's science education for both parents and kids so that parents can do it with their kids. And then if we break it down even further, the specific science education that I'm trying to share is science experiment education for parents and kids at home. You see how we took a broad topic, which was just education. I want to educate people, or I want to educate people in the science space. And we really broke it down into something specific. And so I want you to take what it is, that topic that you want to talk about, and really break it down into something specific and who you want to talk about, because that's going to lead us into the next W. And it's only after you establish an audience and you gain that social proof and that following that you can then broaden what you speak about and widen your channel. And that kind of nicely pivoted into the second W, which is who. Specifically, who is your target audience? In order to attract your ideal audience and grow a loyal following, you first need to understand who it is that you want to speak to and who is it that you want to attract with your content. And so start by asking yourself the following questions about your audience member. Where are they located? What age or gender are they? What are their interests? And what are their dislikes? Believe it or not, these are the questions that are accounted for in basically all business and marketing plans. Even brands as massive as Apple ask themselves these questions when they're launching the new iPhone. Because even Apple is trying to target a specific audience for their products. And so you, as a content creator, are the product, and so who is it that you are trying to target and attract with your content? But you need to focus, because your audience is not going to be everyone. Yes, in a dream world, it would be amazing if everybody liked you and your content and cared what you had to offer, but unfortunately, that's just not reality. So you need to stop trying to please everyone and start trying to please your ideal audience. Because if you try and please everyone, you end up not really pleasing anyone. And it leads to a lot of confusion in the viewer because they don't really know what it is that you have to offer. So pick a specific audience and stick to it. So now we're pivoting from the W's and we're gonna talk about the H, which is how. How are you making the content and how are you approaching your audience? So what does this look like? Are you talking face to camera? Are you taking static pictures? Are you using highly aesthetic video images in your content? Okay, and then you wanna ask yourself, what problem is it actually solving? This ties into the value that it's providing your audience. And so is it inspirational? Is it motivational? Is it educational? Is it relatable? Those are really the key areas that you want to focus on to gain that really true and loyal audience. And so for me, I post educational content, which is the science experiments on my page for parents, but then I also create really inspirational and motivational content through sharing my real life experience as a working mom and, the not so glamorous side of things. There's always purpose to the content I put out. I don't just put out content to put out content. I put out content to evoke a feeling in my audience and hope that that makes them feel even more connected to me as a creator, really creating a close-knit community online. And then finally, the more logistical side of things is how you're actually creating that content. So are you shooting the content on your phone? I personally use my iPhone to shoot all of my content. I just think it's a lot easier because I can shoot and edit on the same device and then upload to my social media platforms on my phone. But you can also use a DSLR and then airdrop it or put it onto your laptop and then edit on your laptop, bring it back to your phone. That to me sounds a bit more tedious for short form content, but it is very useful for long form content. And then with editing, are you using editing apps on your phone? I personally use InShot, and if you are interested in a full tutorial on how I edit in InShot, then drop a comment down below. But for the scope of this video, we're not going to get into actual editing details. So once your content's created, it is time to post it. But this brings us to the next W, which is when. When are you going to post? While posting on the whim may feel a little bit more flexible, it can actually lead to a lot more work in the long run and lead to things like creator burnout, or even worse, total abandonment of your platform. Which is why I stress how important it is to go in with a plan first. If you're starting from scratch and you really want to kick things into high gear right away, then I recommend you have at least one full month of content planned out from the beginning. Now, you don't have to have this content all filmed and created at the beginning, but you do need to have a solid plan of what it is that you want to post. The reason for this is consistency. Consistency is everything for a creator. And unfortunately, it's also everything for the social algorithms, because these algorithms want to keep people on the platform. And so if you stop posting, then you are not keeping people on the platform for your content. And so that can hurt your reach or your engagement when you do decide to come back to the platform. You're also growing a community online. And so that community should be able to rely on you for the content that you're essentially promising them that you're going to create. And so for me, I post science experiments every week. People follow me because they want to do these science experiments with their kids. If I all of a sudden stop posting these experiments and take a hiatus for months, people are not only going to forget about me, but then when I come back, they're going to be like, oh yeah, like you're back, but you've been gone. Maybe they found another creator who's doing what I do, and they're like, well, now they're connected to them and they don't really need my content anymore. So in order to be consistent, we need to plan our content first. So how do we plan the content? Well, you're gonna need to establish two things: a content strategy and a content calendar. Your content strategy is a system that you have in place to create the actual content. This includes things like your posting frequency. So say you want to post 3 times a week, it would be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays consistently. And it also includes things like time to actually plan and create the content, edit the content, and then post it and engage with your audience after you post it. So this is a system that you are developing to allocate time to all of these various tasks. When you do this, it really helps you be consistent with the content that you are creating. For example, I tend to bulk film my content on 2 days a week. So that's always on Tuesdays and Fridays. And so I know those are the days that I'm filming. And then other days I'm actually script writing, I'm editing, I'm prepping, I'm scheduling, all of that fun stuff. I have a system in place to keep me consistent. And now your content calendar is the content that you actually want to create. You want to start by brain dumping about 20 ideas into a list. You can actually start a list in a note on your phone so that every time an idea comes to you, say you're out doing something, you can add it to that list. And these can include topics that you enjoy talking about, things that people generally ask you, or things that are trending currently in the news that relate to your niche. And once you have that master list, you can start picking from it and start creating the content. Remember, a well thought out content strategy and content calendar should be established before you start creating the content. And of course, I know I'm talking really fast here, but if you have any questions about what I've shared up until this point, please drop them in the comments. But on to the next W. Where? Where are you going to post the content? Once you have a strategy established and your content is finally made, you need to decide where it is that you want to show up for your audience. Thinking about things like, where is your ideal audience most active? And does that particular platform meet your goals? For example, are you looking for a platform that is really quick to make content for and you have a larger opportunity to go viral? Because if so, you want to start by focusing your efforts on Instagram Reels and TikTok. Or if you're looking for an evergreen platform, one that will continue to show your content to eyeballs years down the line after you post it, then you want to focus on a longer form video format, and that would be established on YouTube. While I'm only now just starting my YouTube channel, or I guess just now starting to take it seriously, I would recommend that if you do go down the route of starting a YouTube channel, try and start by posting at least one video a week consistently. And remember, it's not gonna be perfect at first. I already look at videos that I made just even a couple weeks ago and I cringe a little, but every time you post, you're going to learn and you're gonna hone your craft as not only a videographer or a speaker, but also as an editor. But now let's shift back to Instagram for a second as I round out the idea of where you are going to post. There are two places you can show up for your audience, in feed and in stories. Now, in feed, you're looking at more branded and polished content and you are posting consistently. But whereas in the stories, it's a bit more fun. You can share more personal content and get really real and raw with your audience about who it is that you are. You can show your uniqueness and your personality, but you also have to be consistent here. And finally, the last W is why. Why are you doing this? And why do you want to be a content creator? It's often overlooked, but it is such an important question to answer. And it's one that I'm constantly answering myself. As much as you want people to connect with your social presence and your content, you want them to connect with you as a person first. I mean, have you ever felt that you can't start your platform because somebody else is already doing it? There's already somebody who makes vegan food. There's already somebody who does productivity tips. There's already somebody who does science experiments online, or lots of them. But just remember, none of those people who are doing those things are you. And if you bring your content back to your why and really let your personality shine through, then that is what is going to set you apart from all of the rest. I mean, let's face it, very few creators are original. So let's focus on being unique. That was a mouthful. Oh my God, my back is kind of hurting. But anyways, if you liked this video, if you took something away from it, I would really like if you could smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel for more creator industry stuff. And until next time, keep shining.